All right. Hi, everyone. It's your girl, Queen Cole here. And this is a live episode of Light the Path podcast. You know, that is something I'm starting new for the new year. This is it, live broadcast. You are definitely going to enjoy this conversation. Now, it may seem like self care and self love contradict each other, but you can have both. It's important that you work to and to bring both into your life because when you make it a point to prioritize yourself, you're able to give others the best of you. We get self care and self love mixed up, and sometimes we get it wrong when we equate them with each other. But joining me on the show today is Delashawn Bordeaux. She is the founder of Speak Our Truth, Inc., a nonprofit organization, and she gonna get us straight. We're gonna talk about her affirmation, I am enough, and we're gonna talk about self-love versus self-care. So help me welcome Delashawn to the show.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the show today. Now we're going to follow this conversation. So if you're here live, that's great. Make sure you interact with us, but then follow us on Clubhouse. We're going to do a 30-minute chat because we want to hear from you as well. We're going to read your comments here, but on Clubhouse, you're able to voice your concerns and let us know, ask a few more questions, and we're going to get a little more deeper on the Clubhouse conversation after this. So make sure you jump into that. But Delashawn, it's Tuesday. It's Do New Things Tuesday.
Okay.
What have you been doing new lately?
You know what? Oh, I'm so excited that you asked that. What have I been doing? I've been working on our second annual charity event for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So I
Ooh.
have, I'm a little stressed, but it's okay. But I've been doing what's necessary to try to get it up and running so that we can have a successful event and show our support to sexual assault survivors because they need us more than anything.
Yes, absolutely. When will it be?
It is April 23rd at 10 a.m. So we're going to do extreme hip hop. Y'all look, I don't know about y'all, but that step, whew, you know, we're going to do it together. But y'all just have 911 on standby for me because I'm going to need it.
Oh
But
my goodness.
so that is my new thing. And I am so excited. I actually just got off the phone with my mom and I said, I have a team. Like I have a team, some people that I can meet with and say, this is what I want. And we work together. And I never thought I would be here. So that is new to me and I'm excited.
That is also, I mean, because that really shows growth because when you're able to
Yes.
get a team, because I mean, the entrepreneur spirit is in us and we want to do. But when you start that delegation, hand it out,
Ooh.
helping so other people get into the game, I think that is awesome. I can't wait for it. How do we be able to come? Is it going to be virtual, in person? Tell us more.
Okay, so it is in person. It's going to be at the River Legacy Park in Arlington, Texas. Not a huge park, but it's enough to do what we needed to do. Like I said, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The whole time we would not be doing extreme hip hop because y'all will not fall out on my watch. However, we're going to hear from survivors. We're going to hear from, hopefully we can get the police department to come and talk about speaking out. And then we're going to do some extreme hip hop, and then we'll have vendors there afterwards so that you can do some shopping. As well as resources. We always want to make sure we have resources because that's why we're here. We're here to serve you. So the tickets go on sale next week. We're in the process of finishing last details. But when I tell y'all, I am so excited. I'm excited to see y'all do extreme hip hop as I make sure it goes good.
That is so good. That is so awesome. It's always for a good cause. And I love that you talk about your organization already. So let's just talk about that. What's been going on with you and what's going on besides that with the nonprofit? Tell us.
So with Speak Our Truth, we are trying to enter into a new level. I always tell people I never had a plan on where I expected to be. I started off of a blog. I just wanted, you hear me talk about journaling. It's because that's what I live off of. I was like, hey, I just want to journal and tell my story, tell how I'm feeling, and go from there. And so that's what I was doing. I just thought I had a blog, and now I look up and I have a full organization where we are helping women and we are helping survivors, and we're bringing out conversations that people aren't used to having. No one talks about sexual assault. We talk a little bit about domestic violence. We don't talk about PTSD. We don't talk about childbirth, divorce. These are things that we as women struggle with every day. And we don't realize how it changes us on the insides because we begin to see ourselves different. So, what are we doing? We're out here trying to bring awareness to the conversations people don't want to have. We're creating webinars. Last month, we did DFW Survivor Resources. That lets you know what resources are available for sexual assault survivors in the DFW area. It's not just about sexual assault, because sometimes we have survivors who need help getting back out there on the forefront of getting a job. So we want to make sure we have resources to help you get your resume together, to help you get the interview skills you need. Those are things that are important because a lot of times when you live in fear, you need help adjusting back to regular life. So we're doing webinars. This month we have supporting survivors. And then other than that, we're getting ready for our event and we're making sure you guys know who we are. We're here to talk about them bad conversations nobody wants to talk about.
So tell me this, where do you get that bravery from? Because I went through I had to tell this, I went through your 21-day self-love challenge because I also want to bring that to the I Am Academy, which I'm a part of. And some of the journal prompts, one journal prompt in particular, I'm not going to spoil it for those who are going to join it another time with you, but one of the journal prompts, I read it. I said, I need to take a nap. I need to take a nap and come back to this when I am my full, complete, not sleep deprived self. So where does that come from? Where does your bravery come from to be able to say, I'm going to talk about tough conversation, especially in our community, who we say what happens in this house, etc. I mean, we're about the same age, stays here. Mm-hmm. Where did that bravery come from where you were able to say, you know what, I'm going to talk about this?
It came from holding it in, because as much as they say what happens here stays here, it's not a conversation that's happening in the house. It's really just me, a parent, saying that. And that's the end of discussion. How many people have seen it go further than that? It's not what happens here stays here. We need to deal with this as a family. Let's talk about this. It's more of a what happens here stays here, and we're never going to speak on it again. So I got fed up with holding it in. Because at the end of the day, the more I hold it in, I'm starting to project it out on other people. That hate I'm having for myself because there's things I'm not speaking out on, it's starting to show in my relationships, in my everyday life. I look like the bitter woman all the time. And you know what? What do they call it? The angry Black woman? I get tired of that saying because we're not angry, we're hurt, and no one has taught us how to deal with that hurt. So at some point I have to say, what wasn't there for me, I want to provide to the next person. So where we were told to sweep it under the rug, I'm saying, tell your story, tell the world your story, because when you tell the world, you're going to help somebody you didn't even know you were going to help. And that's what it's about.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's real good. And that's the absolute truth. And it just gives you power when you're able to let that go. You know, there's a certain power that goes into that, telling your story and just freeing yourself. Like, and we're not angry. We're also tired. Like,
girl, you said
it. Of being strong. We're tired of holding it in. We're tired of,
being the
fighting for our kids. Fighting for our kids, fighting for our men, fighting for our own well-being in the workplace, in our house. So we're tired too.
But they don't see it as that. They don't see nobody. And this isn't a situation where we could put on race, because even men don't see it. They don't see how tired we are as women, because our parents and our grandparents did it. They took care of the household and they cooked dinner every day, and they still want that. But at the same time, you still want us to work. We are, as women, we are tired. We are tired of a lot of things. We're tired of not being heard. We're tired of feeling like our only job is to make sure everyone else is okay while forgetting about ourselves. We're tired of having to go to work every day and deal with bosses who don't respect us when we're smarter than them. We're tired of a lot. And what we want is for people to see us, see who we are beyond everything else. Because I'm more than a mother. I'm more than the woman who goes to work. I'm more than a podcast host. My name is Delashawn Bordeaux. And before anything else, I am a woman who has things that I need to deal with in order to do anything for you. I have to help myself. So that's that is how I feel. And somebody actually posted in the group I was in, and they asked the question, who were you? Who are you? Remove the title, remove being a parent. Who are you? And I was like, I love that question because now I get to remember who I was before everything else came along with me.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I mean, and if the viewers are listening in and if you're watching this after fact, let us know, who are you
Who are
without your
you?
titles? Who
Yeah,
were you before your title? So, ooh, that's a real good question.
I love it.
I love that. That's real good. Let me ask you this, because a lot of that takes self-love. And what I want to talk about today is self-love versus self-care, because sometimes they get interchanged. So let's talk about self-love. What would be your definition for self-love?
Okay, so self love to me is how we begin to love ourselves authentically. And for me, I live off four models. I do self awareness, confidence, accountability, and forgiveness because I feel like that kind of encompasses everything. For one, we have to acknowledge that in each situation we played a part. Whether it's the fact that we stayed too long, whether the fact that we came out bitter, whatever it is, we played a part and we have to be willing to acknowledge that. From there, whenever we learn to start acknowledging our faults, we lose confidence. So we have to turn around and rebuild that confidence, which is, I hit y'all heavy that first week in self-awareness with them entries, but I tried to come back that second week and I was like, now we ease it up and you see what you need to work on. Now build your confidence up so that you know you can work on it, because it's not impossible to be a better you. And like I said, you really can't be a better you. You got to enhance you. You're perfect already. It's about enhancing. So we have to learn from there to rebuild our confidence, but learn to forgive. Forgiveness is the one thing we all are carrying around with us that we refuse to let go. We won't forgive ourselves. No one ever talks about that. When we go through situations, we will hold ourselves accountable, but we won't forgive ourselves for the things that we've done or, the mistakes that we had to go through to learn from them. So forgiveness is important. Forgive yourself as well as forgive others. But that last one, that accountability, whew, how do you hold yourself accountable to change in the future? What's the point of learning everything from self-awareness, confidence to forgiveness, and then not holding yourself accountable to move forward in the future and say, hey, at this point, I'm going to make that conscious decision to be somebody better, to treat others the way I want to be treated, to not allow my negative experiences to project on others. So that to me is very important. And that's what I live my life off of. I find myself when I'm going through a situation, I'm like, okay, now, what part was what's my fault? How can I fix this? Okay, I forgive them for this, whether they apologize or not. But I also forgive myself because mine is I stick around too long. And I'd be like, oh, I just hate myself for it. But I had to learn, do not hold that, don't hold it in. Just forgive and continue to move forward and learn.
Yeah, ooh, those are all great pieces, because I'm like, ooh, she talking about me. We back on the journal prompts. That's how I felt with the first journal prompt. It felt like I was on the first pew or maybe second pew at church, and the pastor said, what? I was like, talking to me? You talking to me? So those are all great points to do. So how do you practice that self-love as you're going about? Like, are there times where you have to remind yourself, like, I love myself?
Yes. And you know what? It's a two-part question. I have to remember that I love myself, and then I ask, am I being too extreme? Because sometimes we take self-love way too far and we're not rational on how things should be. We have to allow people to make mistakes just like we are. So I have to really sit, my mind wanders. I mean, any little thing in life can change. And I'm like, oh, Lord, the person hate me. I go to the left really quick. So what I had to learn to do is kind of sit in peace and regather my thoughts. If I'm really, really down, journal it. How am I feeling at this moment? Where are these feelings stemming from? Is this a current situation, or did I really just allow this situation to send me somewhere back in the past that I haven't released yet? So I have to sit down with myself and just really focus. And I'm good at that because since the pandemic, I don't mind being in the house. I can sit here in my room. I will cry. I will write whatever I need to do to let it out because I'm at home and who's going to judge me?
That's it. Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. So that is good. That is good because we all have those moments but I like how you know yourself enough to say, am I being extra? And I think that's a pivotal point when we're doing and talking about is self-love is knowing who you are, knowing what triggers you, knowing, whether something is healed or brushed over. Because sometimes something can happen and you like, that stung a little bit. So I think that whole awareness piece, that is huge.
I think, and what you said, are you healed or did you brush over it? Let me tell you, you'll know if you just brushed over it because that cycle is going to keep repeating itself. Because until you start healing and working on it and acknowledging it, all you're doing is suppressing it. So, okay, I can suppress it until I'm triggered again. And now that I'm triggered again, well, what am I going to do about it? Am I just going to sit here and wallow in my pain? Or am I going to acknowledge it and start working through it? Because I need to know how to finally get to a place of I'm triggered, but I can overcome it. And that's where we struggle because I used to be the place where I could get triggered. Oh, you're not going to find me for 2 to 3 days. I'm hiding in the bedroom. I might even be under the bed crying or in my closet. I remember when War Room, you remember that movie? When they had War Room. And I got so depressed at one time, I was literally in my closet. I wouldn't leave. I was talking to God and I had to just really go through that time. But it was when he really spoke to me, it was like, you're going to have to get through this and work through it because what's happening is you're stuck. And when I finally got tired, I was like, okay, so what does this mean? Because I thought I was working through it through crying. But no, I haven't acknowledged anything. I'm just sitting here boo-hooing all day. And so finally, when I finally got real tired, I was like, okay, what is I need to work on? What do I need to do? I start going to therapy. And then, with what she gave me, start coming up with my own action plans. And she was the one who taught me about self-awareness from an indirect position because I remember one day I said something and she was like, do you think you're perfect? And I was like, yeah. Like,
ooh, Delashawn. Ooh, and you said it quick too. You didn't have no pause for no cause.
I didn't. You couldn't tell me nothing because she was like, and it was about a relationship. And she said, have you ever thought about how you talk to him? And I was like, yeah, but at least I didn't lie. Or at least I did. And that was my standpoint. At least I didn't lie. At least I didn't cheat. So I'm perfect and you can't tell me anything. And when she got to talking, my tone changed. I was like, ooh, I did do that. I was like, I did do that too. And she was like, what makes you think that's okay? And from that day, I was like, I'm not perfect. I suck. I was like, I just don't know how I was that way. So things in life will begin to show itself and what you need to change if you haven't healed. Don't brush over it because all you're doing is extending the time frame of your healing.
Yes. And I was one who would brush things under the rug. And I really had to learn. And just now I sit down with myself and I say, what lesson do I need to learn from this? Because that self accountability part, that was a huge thing for me because I didn't think I was perfect. I was a perfectionist and I was thinking I was doing all the right things. Not that
Checking those check boxes.
Right, like a crazy person.
That's what I was doing.
I have to check myself. I have to check myself and be like, one, you're not perfect. You can't do everything perfect. Like
it's true. That is true.
There's no way. And so I'll be in recovery for being a perfectionist. I have to be careful. Like when I start doing projects and I'm trying to do stuff. I
Mhm.
want to get this. And I'm like, whoa.
And when you don't allow yourself room to mess up, it just makes it 10 times harder. Because then you're harder on yourself. But in all reality, it takes those mess ups to learn those lessons in order to get to where you're going. Because trust me, even with this event, I have quit a few times. Like, this event has not happened about 4 or 5 times. And sometimes that's about 4 or 5 times in one week. It depends on what's going on. But I have to tell myself, okay, Nicole, now in the process of doing this, this is what you're learning. So you may not be perfect at it now, but the only way you're going to know how to do it is to learn it today. And that's in life. You're never going to be perfect, but you learn how to become better by making those mistakes. And we have to give yourself room to grow. Give yourself
Yes.
room to grow.
Give yourself room to grow and also give yourself grace. The same grace that we give
Yes.
to everybody else,
Mhm.
give yourself a little sprinkle of it. Just even if it's just a little sprinkle, it's gonna be enough for you to keep going.
Yep.
Scratch your knee, bump your head, but keep going without aborting the whole mission.
And the thing is, some people are looking up to your mission to start theirs, to complete theirs. You don't know who you are in somebody else's journey. You don't know who's watching you. I can give up every day. And I tell people with the field I'm in, I don't, and I've gotten used to it because at first I was so hurt. But I've gotten used to it. I'm not going to see a whole lot of accolades on Facebook and stuff because people aren't comfortable yet. But what I had to learn is God, the people who come in my inbox and let me know, baby, you can't quit because your post the other day held me accountable. Or your post the other day really made me look at some things that I didn't even think about. Your post is something that other people aren't talking about. And so you have to look at your journey and be like, it's not for me. I'm a part of it. However, my journey is for somebody else. Just like at some point in your life, you were looking up to somebody else to see how they made it. Their journey was for you, and your journey is for somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about self-love. I want to know, how do you practice this self-love? Because I feel like you got the whole
Nope.
I
Nope.
want to
I
talk
still
about
struggle.
the self-care part of it, because what are you doing to also take care of yourself? Because self-love, I feel like you shaking, you got your awareness, you got your forgiveness. Let's talk about self-care and then just the difference between the two, because sometimes we sort of get those interchanged between the
Oh,
self-love and the self-care.
yes. So when we talk about self-love, like I said, there's things you can look at self-love. Self-love is to learning to love yourself authentically. But even when you love yourself, we still fall. Like I said, there's things that we go through every day in life that we can't account for that will knock our self-esteem down. That self-care is there to help you rebuild, to remember the things that you love, to help you get back on track, to remember who you are. So self-care for me, flower baths, that is my favorite. Oh my God, I absolutely love it. I will go take, and it's all based off my mood. I can plan for a flower bath, but I cannot purchase my products until day of. And I purchase, flowers. It depends. I've done roses. I've done fruit. I really like the fruit one. Get you some lemons, limes, just something to make it pretty. Grapefruit, oranges, whatever you want in there. Eucalyptus leaves, lavender. I love lavender. My favorite is also getting Dr. Till's to kind of put it in there with it. And you relax, light some candles. And in that time, you can't bother me. It's my time. My daughter knows it's my time. I have a caddy. I will bring up either YouTube or something, listen to some music, have me a glass of wine, light my candles, turn the lights off, and lock my bathroom door. And then I lock that bedroom door. Please do not come bother me because I need this time to myself. And if it's a day where I need to sit out, if I'm not going to the park to kind of just sit out and people watch and enjoy the sunlight, I have an open space in my backyard. I mean, in my apartments, I will just go sit there and allow myself to touch the grass, to feel nature, to just let the sunlight sit on me, talk to God, and just restore myself with that positive energy because the sun is natural vitamin D. So you can go out there and just restore your energy at that time. But it just depends. I'll do flower baths. I don't mind going to sit outside, meditating. I can't lie and say I like to work out. Trying to get there. That one ain't working for me.
Yeah, when that was part of the self-love challenge, I'm like, oh, I can do that.
That's the
So
one week I
easy.
was like, oh gosh.
You're like, we gonna drink water. I was like, yay.
I
I'm
looked back
already
at
drinking
that.
water.
I said, who put this in it? Was I asleep? Like, what happened? Because I had to really go out there and walk into the store. I think I almost died. I was like, oh, it's the longest. So, self-care is very important because it definitely restores us. It restores our energy. It restores our way of thinking. It can help us entrepreneurs practice self-care because sometimes what you don't realize is your mind is running a million miles per hour because we're constantly thinking about, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. But when you practice that self-care and allow yourself to release, that's a whole new wave of fresh creativity and energy. Allow yourself to take a break from everything completely. Disconnect social media, orders. I understand orders are important and clientele is important, but disconnect and allow yourself to fully be free so that you can rethink and get yourself situated for whatever's next.
Yes, yes. Ooh, this flower bath sounds real good because I always see when people go to Bali how they have the whole flower bath. Oh, I want to do that. And I don't really need to wait now to go to Bali. I need to do this myself, get it all together.
And put as many flowers as you want in it. I've seen the one in Bali too, where like they're full of flowers. Now that is on my bucket list. They're gonna be like, "Ma'am, please get out." No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
be
leaving.
shriveled up. When I get out, I'm gonna be shriveled up. You have to blow me back up because I'm gonna be just
That is gonna be me because it's like so beautiful. But at home, when you're not doing anything, go to, I would say, so for quick flowers, if you don't want to go to a flower shop because they're expensive, go to Kroger and Target. Those are my favorite two places to go pick up some beautiful flowers. And all I do is take the tops off and I sprinkle them all in. Now it will probably be easier if you can find like the rose petals if you're doing that type of bath to just find the petals. But I like to take them off and just put them, sprinkle them in my water. And I can use red ones or I might use red and white. It's based off how I feel that day. I've done sunflowers, a fruit and eucalyptus bath, milk and honey. Oh, yes. Milk and honey. Yes. Go Pinterest. Go on Pinterest.
okay.
Go
Okay.
on
And,
Pinterest.
and that's gonna hold me until I can get to the Bali experience.
Yes. Because then when you go, you're going to be like, oh, this is so much better. But not even that. I always say, learn to be romantic with yourself. As women, we want men to come and be like, I'm gonna do this, do this, do this. But how do you know what you like if you've never done it for yourself? And so when I'm doing that, I still get out the tub and I could be here by myself. I put on lingerie and I just enjoy my night alone. Like, hey, this is me. I'm on a date by myself. You can't tell me anything. Don't bother me.
That's real good. That's real good. The final thing that I want to talk to you about before I let you go and we jump on over here to Clubhouse is your affirmation. I am enough. Tell me about that.
Ooh, I don't know how to say anything else other than I am enough. Um, Being a sexual assault survivor, what I can say is I really went through a phase of being promiscuous, feeling like I had nothing to offer other than sex. That's what was, taken from me without my permission. So that's what I was willing to give. And over time, I had to learn that I am so much more than that. I am enough to have the career I want. I'm enough to have the love I want. I'm enough to pursue everything that I desire. But I have to believe it. At 36, I haven't, 35, 36, I don't know how old I am, but somewhere in there, I haven't finished school. And one thing I realized is I allowed my own mental block to keep me from going to school. Anytime there was a small struggle, I was quick to drop out instead of pushing forward. But what about when I tell myself I'm enough to finish school and have the success that I desire? So now I'm back. Look, I didn't re-enroll in school. Made it very clear I'm not leaving. But even with having that affirmation, I have a song. There is a song out there that says, I am enough. That's the whole song, the entire song. And I listen to it every day. And what do I tell myself? I'm enough. I'm enough for everything that I want. I'm enough to get the sponsorships I want. I'm enough to have a successful event. I'm enough to just continue to push for to continue to push it forward for other survivors. I'm just enough. It's just what else can you say? I am enough. It's such a strong statement. But you have to say it over and over to fully believe it.
Yes, as I was getting like promo and things together for this, I kept seeing it and I kept saying it out loud. I'm like, I am enough. I am enough.
Yep.
And then I was getting stressed because I was like, couldn't do this, couldn't. And I had other things going on. I was like, I am enough. I can do this. So it's
And
been
that's what
holding me through this
it
week.
is.
It's been holding me through this week. So I'm like, I am enough. I am enough. I can get this done. I can do my lives. I can do the promos. Like, I'm like, I am enough. So it's been encouraging to me, especially this week. I'm like, because it's small, it's simple, but it's powerful.
Yep, it's the most powerful statement I say, but it's so small. Three simple words: I am enough. If every person believed that about themselves, where would we be? Because when you say I'm enough, that keeps you from having any fear and literally going after everything you want. And that's really what holds us back is fear and not believing that we are enough to have our desires. So, hey, look, I'm going to put a challenge out there. It ain't 21 days, but I want to put a challenge out there. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you enough to do? And what's stopping you from doing it? And then I want you to write it down. And when you're done, I want you to go after it. And every time you get afraid, I want you to tell yourself, I am enough. And tell me what happens after you complete your challenge and let me know.
Okay, I love a good challenge. I love a good challenge. So since you gave them that challenge, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yes, I am on Facebook and Instagram under Speak Our Truth Incorporated, as well as Delashawn Bordeaux, RD Bordeaux Coaching. I do one-on-one coaching for self-love, as well as I do group coaching. Now, the group coaching is more tailored for trauma survivors, but it's just for us to discuss some of those heavy topics and make sure that we're working through it together and we're not left alone. If I could throw this in, if you are dealing with any form of suicide, please reach out to somebody. We're here to help you however I can. And if I don't have the resource, I've been saying it left and right. I can get you to a resource because trust me, the way I ran my mouth tonight, I'm running my mouth to other organizations to make sure we're in place to help survivors of any type of trauma. So please don't deal with this alone. Please reach out if you need us. The website is www.speakourtruth.org. You can email us at info@speakourtruth.org or just come talk to me on Facebook and Instagram. I love y'all.
Yes, thank you so much for being on Light the Path today. All Delashawn's information will be in the audio version on all audio platforms early tomorrow morning with all her links, and then also under this live as well. I'll put it in after we get off. But join us to continue this conversation over on Clubhouse because we want to hear from you. We want to hear your voice. So join us over there at the I Am Academy Club, and we're going to talk a little bit more about self-love versus self-care.
See y'all in a minute.